Sullivan off his right. Oh, Chicane. Oh, I do not believe that. Harry. Oh, this is getting better and better and better. It's Torres holding him tightly. In the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
Hello and welcome to the V2 Football Podcast. I'm your host this week, Shane Lees, and joining us we've got Anthony Kendrick back.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey. We've got Nick Davey.
Yeah, good evening.
We've got Richard Hero Hudson.
Good evening.
And we've got Chris Lappin.
Good evening.
I'm a boss-ass bitch.
Well, you've just made me angry about FIFA, but alright, okay. There's three major bits of FIFA news that have come out. The first one, I want to cover this one quite quickly, is there's been 2 new arrests in Zurich, and there has been 16 more indictments, which are essentially arrests to happen. So the Americans are certainly stepping up their efforts, and I think that's a very good thing. There's not a whole lot more to say about that, other than the most major one is the current Brazilian president has been included on that list, which I think is Marco Polo Del Ferro, I think I want to say his name is. I can't quite remember. Let me just check that. Yeah, Marco Polo Del Nero. Now, he's been added, but the other two major bits of news is first that FIFA has posted a massive loss for the year of 67 million, which is by and large made up of a loss of sponsorship money, the fact that it's not a World Cup year or any major competition years, and the fact that they have had to have massive legal bills because of all the crisis they're going through, and that essentially the lawyers are the only people left running FIFA. So, but the final bit of news is that the FIFA Executive Committee is proposing that they want the World Cup to be expanded to 40 teams. So it's already at 32, and they want it to be 40 teams, so it's an 8-team expansion. And if I will say this, if they are considering doing this now, every single time there has been a World Cup expansion proposed before, it has gone and happened. So if they're saying they want it to be 40 teams, it will be. It will end up being.
Where would the extra 8 teams come from?
Well, this is the big thing, because there's one of 3 things which has motivated this decision. The first one is football, in the sense they just want there to be more football teams, more football games, more people involved in football.
Well, football doesn't necessarily mean better quality.
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily mean, but it will be more people involved. There'll be more countries going to it. But yeah, so that's the first one. I would say that's probably the least likely. The second one is money. Now, this is the one I'm putting my cards on to say I think this is what it is. Now, because they will have more teams, there'll be more TV revenue, and there'll be more tickets they can sell. Because there's more teams, there'll be more countries involved, which will mean more sponsorships they can do in these countries. If someone like Thailand or Malaysia or Indonesia got involved in the World Cup, that's several hundred million people now going there, and those are massive countries. So I'm personally saying it's a money decision, and I think the fact that this has all come out around the exact same time, they've just posted this £67 million loss, I think that says a lot. But the other option, and this was an option Anthony spoke to me about earlier, was is it a political decision? Is someone in the political position trying to buy votes? And this has happened before. When FIFA expanded from 24 teams to 32 in 1998, that was essentially Sepp Blatter paving the way for him to become president after João Havelange resigned and then got completely screwed by the courts. So that they've done that before. I don't think personally this is a political decision simply because the Americans are breathing down so heavily on FIFA, and I don't think anyone will be that open in doing it. But there's a way we'll know if this is a political decision, and the main way is, as Richard said, it depends on who gets the new spots. There's 8 spots, and I think
I couldn't see Europe getting any more because they've already got 16 teams there.
They've got 13.
13.
Yeah, and for me, if they were going to be doing this reasonably, based on football reasons, based on money reasons, they'd do 2 teams from Europe, 2 teams from Asia, 2 teams from Africa, 1 team from South America, and 1 team from North America and the Caribbean. And the reason they do that is simply because of the sizes of the organisations. UEFA has, I think, 53 members, and they've already got 13 people there, so they can't really have more than 2. Asia has, I want to say, 54. So again, it would be reasonable for them to get another 2. They've only got 4 people at the World Cup.
Would that mean that like half of South America get through them?
Yeah, well, they've already got 5 people. I made a note of this. On the second, I did make a note of this. South America gets 6 people out of 10 already going. And the reason I said they're only going to get 1, despite the fact I think they're the second biggest football continent in the world, is because otherwise, there's just too many teams going through there. And CONCACAF, now this is the big one. CONCACAF currently have 4 people there, and this is North America and the Caribbean. If they get more than 1 position, and pay attention now, if they get more than 1 place for this next 2026 World Cup, that's how you know it's corruption. That's how you know it's a political decision. Because there is no way they can justify giving that continent more than 1 spot. And if they have, it's mainly because the two frontrunners, Tokyo Sex Whale and Sheikh Salman Ibrahim Al Khalifa, they have their own places secured. They don't need to appeal to Asia. They don't need to appeal to Africa. They've already got them. CONCACAF is going to be the kingmaker. Whoever they side with is more likely to win. And so if we find out that they get more than one spot, that will be them essentially declaring this was a political decision.
It's not illegal to do a political decision. It
won't be, but the thing is, when these decisions happened, and they have happened in the past, there's normally quite a lot of dirty dealing going on behind the scenes, especially when it comes to ticket sales and that sort of thing. That's how we'll know. But so if that happens, that's someone. And one of the things that will come out of this is FIFA is saying it's going to be a new transparent organisation. They've done this all behind the scenes, and the way we'll know if this is a transparent organisation is if they actually tell us who made this proposal and what they want this proposal to do, and seriously what they want it to do. Because if it was one of Sheikh Salman or one of Tokyo Sexwell, then we know they're trying to secure votes for themselves. I don't think they'd be that open. I think they'd go through a third party, and you can obviously backtrace that to who they have loyalty to. So I don't personally think this is a political decision, because I think it's too soon after everything else that's happened, and because mostly the people in the executive committee who are making this decision are not standing for election right now. But I think this is a money decision. I think the fact it's come out at the same time that they've posted a £67 million loss, I think they're planning ahead and trying to say we're going to balance this down the line. I think this is a money decision, but it could be a political decision, and the way we've got to look out for it is who gets what spots. If they're being rational, it's 2 to UEFA, 2 to Africa, 2 to Asia, 1 to North America and the Caribbean, and 1 to South America. If it doesn't work out like that, then something dodgy's gone on. So that I think can pretty roundly cover it. But for people who say this is a bad thing, I think everyone, when they're talking about FIFA now, it's just assumed to be a bad thing. This wouldn't be that much of an impact on the World Cups. It would be one extra team in each group stage.
I was thinking, as long as it's 5 groups of 5 rather than 10 groups of 4, so he's at when they have to.
It would probably end up being
England get an extra game before they go home.
It would probably be 8 groups of 5 rather than 10 groups of 4.
I don't mind it looks like that. But still.
So yeah, I think that's realistically the only way we'll do it, and that isn't that much of an impact. And it would be an opportunity to see some new teams we're not used to seeing. We'd maybe see Jamaica make it to the World Cup, or a team like that. That would be quite good. We'd see
Scotland might even get there.
Yeah, we'd see 2 more teams from Europe, and there are a lot of good European teams who don't always make it. We'd see another team from South America. So I think it wouldn't necessarily be a bad decision in of itself, but it's how they do it, it's how transparently they are about it, and what motivated them to make this decision that I think dictates it.
I think in order to have the best teams at the World Cup, we need more European teams. I think the European nations are far stronger. If you think about some of the teams who have qualified for the Euros, who've got no chance of qualifying for a World Cup, I think the Europeans should have a lot more spots. If you talk about from a purely footballing point of view.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. But on the other hand, I do think we already have 13 spots. We have twice as many as the next highest amount, which is CONMEBOL, the South Americans. And CONMEBOL obviously can't have any more because they've got 10 teams. If they have more than 7 or 8 teams going, it's just ridiculous.
But if there's 50, hang on a minute. If there's 6, that's 60% of their nations get a World Cup spot. Could you not argue 60% of European nations deserve a World Cup spot? So out of 50 odd nations, that's about 30. Well, that's too much, obviously.
Yeah, that's a gigantic World Cup.
No, but maybe, I don't know, half of them should be European, I'd say. If you're going to have a 40-team World Cup.
And you're probably looking at like the 16th best European nation is a match for the best CONCACAF or...
Yeah, that's my argument, yeah.
Well, no, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but it is a World Cup. It's not a European Cup, it's a World Cup. It's got to have teams from all around the world. And if we do it purely based on who are the best teams, which I know people are going to say, yes, we should be doing that, it is just going to be UEFA v South America. And I know it's how it always turns out, but you can't not include the African teams, you can't not include the Asian teams, you can't not include the North American teams.
If Australasia got a spot, would you?
I'll put it this way: nobody would have bet on Costa Rica doing as well as they did before. They earned that spot; they deserved it. And if we were to go and put more European teams in, that would mean reducing the amount of teams North America has, which is 5. But they earned that spot. They showed they were good enough. I think if we made it, I think it's just a matter of it being a World Cup. And the fact that they have to have countries from all around the world. They can't have one country from an entire continent. I don't think that's actually reasonable. And as much as I do think FIFA needs to be more European-centric and more South American-centric...
With Australasia, sometimes don't have any.
Well, Oceania, and that's because the only one they have is New Zealand. Australia has moved to Asia. They decided Oceania wasn't competitive enough. But no, they only get... Oceania, I think they only get either one or none.
They get playoff spot.
Yeah, that's what... And So yeah, as much as
Well, they could do that is give Oceania back some then, instead of having to go into a playoff against the best.
I imagine that they might
nation.
end up giving them one. But like I said, I don't think it's necessarily that bad decision. And whilst I do agree technically that UEFA should have more because it is the best footballing continent in the world, I don't think there's any question about that. It is a World Cup at the end of the day. This has to, part of the allure of this is that it's teams from all over the world, it's fans from all over the world all coming to one space. If you take that away, I kind of think it's going to lose a bit of its purpose. The World Cup has always been about this. Ever since it started, it's always had that element. And
The World Cup's amazing, man.
so yeah, I wouldn't want to lose the culture of the World Cup, because even though you've got all the crap with FIFA and all that lot, the World Cup in terms of the actual event, it stayed kind of pure in a way that it's all about the footballing culture, the fans and all that lot. So I would worry, if it was made more European centric, I'd worry a bit more about losing that.
Yeah.
Does anybody not want to see it turn to a 40-team World Cup?
No, it'll be a stupid idea. Because I think getting to the World Cup should be an absolute honour.
Well, yeah,
The first World Cup didn't have any nation apart from South Americans, Europeans, and North Americans.
wasn't the first World Cup in like the 1930s?
1930, yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
World
a
Cup
pretty
should
long
be-
time ago. The world's changed quite a lot in 70 odd years.
You just about your point about it. It was always about every nation, all the different
Yeah,
nations.
that's the
getting
way
involved.
it's grown. That's the way it's progressed into becoming an amazing tournament that it is. It started off with those principles. It didn't necessarily stick to them, but it's the principles of it.
No, it started off with pretty much the best teams around at the time, apart from England, because they had a bit of a hissy fit for a while.
We did have a bit of a hissy fit. That was mainly because of South Africa. Fuck you, South Africa. But yeah, no, I personally think I wouldn't be against expansion because I don't think it actually makes that much of a difference. It's how it's all happened. That's the thing that worries me, because I think if they don't make it more transparent, it's shown FIFA has no intention of changing how it works. It has no intention of becoming better. And if it was a political decision, then we're just seeing more of the exact same shit we've been used to with FIFA. If it's a money decision, I can't condemn that, because obviously they're going to try and make money. Why wouldn't they? But I don't think the actual decision itself it's too major. If it happens, I'll be fine with it. If it doesn't happen, I'll be fine with it. I'll put it that way. It's no big deal.
What I can say is